just kind of give us some tips and some of your things that you've done when you were going through withdrawal that might help some other people. I'm just gonna leave it up to you. Like the next 15 minutes, just kind of close us out. Whatever you want to talk about, man. What maybe like that. Something that that might help somebody else out there. Some things that have helped you along the way. Um, it's totally up to you.
Yeah.
And if you
It's fun.
could, if you could, at the end of this too, if you don't mind, just letting everybody know what your YouTube channel is again, so everybody
Oh,
can
yeah,
go check your channel out.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's funny. I kind of like had some like all week I've been thinking about things I want to talk about. I talked about like none of them. Like I don't even remember what they were.
Oh, it's all good.
Uh, I can't believe we just talked for an hour. That's so funny. Um, but yeah, I guess just the thing is like don't lose hope. Like don't lose hope because there's like I used to think like you only got a couple chances. You only got so many chances, dude. I've had hundreds of chances that I've blown, and I still get more chances. Like it's never too late. It's never too late. You'll always get another chance. And I don't say that as like an excuse. It's like I say that to like don't give up. Like it's not too late. Um, I still have so much life ahead of me. Like I'm so much better than I have ever been. Like
Absolutely.
I've kind of told some of my story. That's not even all of it. Like you know,
We'd
all
be
this
here
stuff.
probably for 100 days trying to tell your whole story.
The way like how I'm alive is insane. Um, but I am, so like enjoy it, and you can do it too. Like it's the way you think when you're addicted and when you're going through addiction is not the way you will think forever. And all those things that you think are unrelated, all those fears, like maybe you're afraid of going on dates or talking to girls, or you have social anxiety, those things will clear up. Like you tend to, they always say when the addict like delays their, hold on, like we were addicted to some substances, it kind of like delays our maturity. But then when you take those substances away and you get sober, that maturity starts again. And so you kind of feel like you're going through things maybe you should have gone through 10 years ago, but you're doing them now. Um, and that's kind of been my experience, but it's also at like a hyper speed. Those things all come like your development is like faster than ever too, because you're not covering your emotions, you're not hiding, as long as you're doing the other right things too, like having relationships and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's just not it's not over, man. I don't know what to say. It's like yeah, life can be just better than you ever thought it could be.
I just did a video today, and the video was don't give up, keep pushing forward, no matter what it is, no matter what your situation is in life. You got to just keep going because you
Yeah,
never know what life has in store for you.
I've heard a lot of people say like that I look up to in addiction and that have been sober for years, and they go, I'm so glad I didn't get what I wanted because I would have sold myself short. Like they got more than they ever wanted.
Absolutely.
Um, in sobriety. Like, and that was like God's plan for them, right? Like, if they would have played God and done things on their time and how they wanted it, they would have got so much. But things they could have never even imagined have happened, and their life's so much better than they could even thought it would be.
Absolutely.
And they're doing similar things to what we're doing, like they're changing their life around. That's another piece of advice is like start a YouTube channel, man. Like if you're struggling, just throw videos out there. My videos are crazy. My early one, I was it's it takes a while to get used to this and like kind of get comfortable in front of the camera and then you have a purpose, having that purpose and like we both talked about earlier, spreading the messages like we're really just telling ourselves these things. When I'm making these videos, I'm telling myself this. I'm really kind of talking to myself, and it's very therapeutic and it's very fun. And you'll meet other people like we just met.
Yeah.
Struggling, I would say, hey, start a YouTube channel, man. You can do it too. I'll come on it. And yeah, um, and then just like, um, my channel's Addicted to More. It's called Addicted to More underscore. Um, and yeah, it's I just started Patreon. Um, I have zero subscribers, but I want to do like things on there, like more interviews and you know, kind of like call people. And I don't know, I got some ideas for that. And yeah, just keep growing my channel and having people on and seeing how it goes, man. I'm excited. I don't really care if it. I hope it becomes something, but if it doesn't, it's like we talked about, it's like therapy for me. It's just like something I can do,
Yeah.
like an online journal almost.
What do you think out of all of your experience with, you know, addiction with, because you've had a lot of different ones. What do you think the biggest thing that you learned from all what you've been through after getting sober? What do you think is the biggest thing you've taken away from all of this?
Um, I would say that probably that like it's really up to you. Like um, when it comes down to it, you kind of choose your happiness. You choose how you look at the life. You choose to forgive. Uh, and life's fragile, but it's not. It's very fragile, but it also isn't. It's a lot longer than you think it's going to be. You know, um, you can make a lot of mistakes and still have a good life. Like,
Yeah,
things like that. Letting stuff go. I've just become so much better at letting little things go. And um, sometimes, like, even at work, this isn't fair. I'm doing more than this person, but I don't care. Because I don't want to feel negative. I'd rather do more work and feel not have a resentment. Protecting yourself from your resentments. Don't be afraid to, separate yourself from people. I've had to separate myself from family and friends, um, and I don't feel bad about it. Don't be selfish. Be
yeah,
selfish.
I agree with you. If there's negativity in your life, you have to cut it out.
Yeah, it's time to be selfish. I know it's hard when you feel like you've been so selfish, but newly sober is not the time. Is the time to be selfish
You
because you
have to
have to.
protect your sobriety at all costs.
And like they call it a family disease, and that doesn't just mean it affects the family. It also means the family affects the addict. It goes both ways. Sometimes it's the family that created an addict. Now the addict affects the family.
Yeah,
It's don't be afraid to make new friends and
absolutely.
start distancing yourself from certain people. Um, yeah, protect yourself, and just do the next right thing. Just keep doing the next right thing, and stuff will just happen. Things that you wanted to force happen will just start to randomly happen. They'll just
Yeah.
happen on their own very easily. Um, you know, yeah, I guess that's kind of,
One
I
more
don't know.
question for you before we get off of here today, and then we'll close out after this. And I really appreciate you coming on here today and taking the
Yeah.
time to spend with me. And I know that the audience is really going to appreciate it too. But my question for you is my last question. You said you started drinking at 14, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. If you could get into a time machine right now and go back and talk to 14-year-old you, what would you say to yourself if you could do that?
I've thought about this because what do I want? Do I think I shouldn't have drank ever? I don't necessarily think that either. I think I probably would teach myself not to do it too young, um, to be in the middle of the pack. Don't be ahead of everybody. Because by the time I got to college, I had already drank so much for so many years that
Yeah,
like, everybody's just starting. And then I wanted to quit and nobody's trying to quit because everybody's just starting.
yeah,
Um, and so it's like, well, I guess I'll keep going. And then I just teach a lot more about personal responsibility, right? And a lot more about like what addiction is and like that drugs and alcohol, it's not that they'll ruin your life immediately. It's that they'll make you feel amazing first, and you'll think they're the answer to all your problems, and they're the greatest thing you've ever found, and they're the answer, and then they'll ruin your life. You know, they're a great solution temporarily. They really work. But that's the problem, right? Like that's the problem is they do work for a little while. Um, so things like that, and then just like more of the social stuff, like get a girlfriend, man. Like you won't care as much about drinking if you have a good life. Get a girlfriend, do it, go after something you like, even if it's not like a traditional college path. Like for me, I would have gone into like making skate videos and like editing and filming or go into acting, more creative stuff and not being afraid to, because I have more passion there, I had no idea. I was like a finance major and then a psychology major, and then I went to nursing school. It's like I didn't care about those things.
You were
Of
doing
course,
what your dad wanted you to do.
I was just doing what I just had no idea what to do, and I knew I had to do something. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what like I had to go to college. And it's like, yeah, but I don't. There's nothing, And I was like in a small town. It's none of the arts were really anything that was ever talked about. So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to go after the arts. Um, yeah, because there's expression there. You know,
Sounds like you're really into art.
I'm just into expression because I think that's where a lot of my mental torture comes from is being repressed.
Okay.
So expression is very important, I think, for me.
I think those are all
Yeah, man.
really great things, man.
Yeah.
Anything else that you would tell yourself?
Uh, it's gonna be okay. It should be okay, man.
That's a great one, dude. That is a great one.
Don't compare your insides to other people's outsides. I think
Yeah.
that's something I did. I felt anxiety and I felt like all my insecurities. And then I'd look at people and see that they on the outside had it all together and had a perfect life, not knowing what's going on inside their heads. So don't compare your insides to other people's like you.
Very true. Very true. I've wanted the same thing that you know, if I could go back in time, would I tell myself not to ever touch anything? Because I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go on the journey that I did.
Yeah,
And I've gained a lot of knowledge. I've learned a lot about myself through my journey. And I think that what you said about not comparing yourself, your insides to other people's outsides, um, I think that I would tell myself, don't, comparing yourself to other people is a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for depression. You start
yeah,
comparing yourself to where somebody else is, and we're all in different stages of our lives. And just because this person over here has got a nice car and a great job and they're married and have kids or whatever, and you start comparing yourself to that, going, well, I don't have these things, but they might be in a different stage of their life and you're just not there yet. I think I would tell myself that give it time, everything will work itself out, and stop worrying about trying to keep up with everybody, because that's not the way the world works. And
yeah,
I think I did that for so many years, trying to keep up with the Joneses. And
yeah,
that's a really hard thing to do. And with that comes a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of putting yourself down, thinking I'm not good enough. And, there's this constant drive, to try to acquire things and acquire certain levels and stages that maybe just wasn't ready for yet. And
yeah,
another thing too to touch on real quick before we get off of here is that you were talking about how when you stopped drinking, you started to mature. And I was actually just talking about this in one of my videos like 2 or 3 days ago, because I had the maturity level of an 18-year-old up until I stopped drinking. I paid the bills. I went to work every day, but here mentally, I wasn't there. And when I finally removed that substance, you're right. It was like lightning speed. The maturity just, I started to mature. I started to see how my actions affected other people. And
yeah,
it wasn't until I removed that substance and stopped being so selfish that I saw that. So you have really great points, man. And I really appreciate you bringing those up.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and all my socials are on my. If you click on my profile, I'll probably send them to you. You can put it in the comments or whatever.
Yeah,
They're mainly
absolutely.
my yeah, but yeah, man, and special thanks to you. Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah,
Giving me this
absolutely, man.
a new experience for me. I know a lot of people are going to see this, so
Oh yeah,
I don't ever told my story before like this, so kind of scary now that I've said it all, but kind of freeing too, right? Like
absolutely. It really is.
means I think the more you expose yourself, the freer you are because the more you can be aligned with who you are and not have to hide that. Like I had a hard time telling people that I was an addict when I got sober. I felt like I was living a double life and still living a lie, even though I wasn't using because I wasn't honest about it and I wasn't able to people. I still had to lie. Where are you going? I was going to AA meeting. Well, I'm just going to town. It's like, why are you lying about that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're doing the right thing. It's just you're still kind of lying. So things like that. So yeah, man,
Absolutely.
you're definitely an inspiration. Trying to get to you know do the same thing. And, how do one thing I wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel now about like death and things like that? Because you became, got so close, and I know you still, have a lot of problems.
Well, they gave me a year to live in October of 2022, and
Mm-hmm.
it's almost October of 2024. So it's almost 2 years later. Honestly, I don't really think about it. Like I say in my videos, live each day at a time, just like, the mantra goes. I don't really think too far into the future because tomorrow's not promised. And I don't try to set myself up, uh, to let myself down, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I don't want to think way too far into the future and go, well, in 10 years I'm going to be here. Because I don't want to do that and then 2 years from now I'm laying in a hospital bed and that goal didn't get achieved. So
yeah, I'm the same.
I think more or less is living every day and being appreciative of waking up that morning and living each day to the fullest extent that I can live it. I have limitations because of my health, but I just try to enjoy life more, try to be more positive. And I think one of the biggest things that I've tried to do is not entertain negativity and
Yeah,
just try to stay as positive as I can. Because I was in a really, really dark place, man. Like I was saying, when I was, bedridden for those few months, I was in and out of the hospital. I spent a lot of time alone. Um, and now I know that it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Uh, but I just don't think about it too hard. It's more or less, um, I just want to live each day because every day that I wake up is a blessing. I feel like
yeah,
I had it set in my mind, uh, that October of 2023 was going to be it. They told me I wouldn't be alive for the holiday season. So I already had it in my mind that, I only had but so much time. And now every day that I get is like a gift. Uh,
yeah,
this I thought that I never thought I would be here. So it's like every extra day that I have, it's like I can't believe I'm still here. Um, so I don't really think about it too much. It's kind of like one of those things to where uh, I know it's going to happen, and I just don't want to bring myself down thinking about it too much. So I really more or less just really just take each day by day and try to appreciate it the most I can. Like you were saying, like, appreciating things, appreciating the small things, I think has been one of the biggest things for me is just appreciating life. I appreciate the
yeah,
fact that I have something to drink, or I appreciate that I have a house. I appreciate that I have clothes on. I just appreciate my life more. Where before I was always angry, and if
yeah,
things didn't go my way, I would just blow a lid. Or if something went wrong, I would just lose my mind, or something broke. It was the end of the world, and now I realize that none of that stuff means anything.
yeah,
Material possessions mean nothing. Money means nothing. I mean, we need it to get by, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't mean anything. Our life is the most important thing we have. making positive impressions on other people and just trying to be as kind and understanding to as many people as I can in this world now. I think it's just that's how I look at it, man.
So that would make the world a better place, you know. It's funny. The more I live in tune with like living a positive, good life that I can be proud of and doing esteemable acts to grow my self esteem, the less those old resentments bother me. You know, when my life's going good, I don't care about those old resentments. And the less I care about, like, worry about dying and things like that.
Yeah,
Because if I keep doing good, I'll die a peaceful, happy death where I can be proud of how I live.
yeah,
You know, we all have to go through that. You know,
absolutely,
nobody. So I think making that kind of transition early um, is something that a lot of addicts get the opportunity to do because we get faced with it earlier. So,
absolutely. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. Do
well,
you have
cool,
anything
man.
else to add for this at all?
Was that
Do you have anything else to add?
subscribe
Tell us your channel one more time before we get off of here for today.
or underscore? And then it'll be in the comments. And then I got my Patreon, and then I have an X account, and yeah, it's the same thing on all of them. You
Okay.
know, anybody that's on here can knows how to find it. But yeah, man.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for coming on today. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you sharing your story. I know it's not easy, but I really do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing that. And I know this is going to help somebody out there. So I greatly appreciate it.
What matters. Thanks, LD. Appreciate you,
Thank
man.
you so much, man.